Building up this soil by adding loads of organic matter. And this is the key to ensuring what I plant next will survive during the long, hot months to come. Managing a smooth transition from one season to another is an important part of growing food successfully in small gardens. You can see these leeks and other root crops still have a few weeks to go. Now, my next crop in the rotation is legumes, and I want to get an early start. So I'm going to grow climbing beans on a trellis structure above them. I'm making what I call an inverted teepee, and it's simply made from a stake, 3 pieces of bamboo, and some wire tied tightly around the middle. The best thing is that this is so easy to make, it's cheap, and it can be used again next year. I'm planting my favourite climbing bean, which is the Blue Lake variety. It's great in the heat, it's a really heavy bearer, and these are seeds left over from a bumper crop last year. All it takes is one seed at the base of each leg, some water, and it's well and truly away. In this bed, I've cleared out half the celery to make room for tomatoes. I start by driving in a couple of solid stakes. Then I dress the soil with some blood and bone, plant these beautiful little cherry tomato seedlings, some more blood and bone, and then water it in. You'll notice that I cut spent seedlings like this lettuce rather than pulling them out, which disturbs the soil. It also means all the root biomass breaks down in the soil, feeding soil life. Then it's a dressing of blood and bone, pop in the seedlings, a bit of water, and this basil will absolutely go for it. Now the weather's warming up, it's also a great time to plant chilies. I'm putting in 3 different varieties to add some spice to my summer cooking. Not only does this variegated fish pepper go really well with seafood, but when it fills out, it'll look great. To finish off out the front, I'm going to fill out this border of companion shrubs by planting aromatic and flowering plants like pyrethrum, tansy, and lad's love. Now we go around the back, and these lime trees are going on the outside of the chook run. As they grow, I'll espalier them to save space and provide some screening. Normally in Perth, I like to plant citrus in autumn so they can get a good head start before the following summer arrives. But in this instance, they're going to be irrigated by grey water, so they'll be absolutely fine. After a serious planting session, I like to give the plants a dose of seaweed solution to encourage good root development. The main thing that will keep this garden productive all through summer is the organic matter in the soil. It does take a bit of work, but the results will surprise you. This is how my front garden looked in 2003. And around the back, it was even worse. Overgrown and in a right mess. But this is what it looks like today. This is what a little bit of planning and hard work can do. Well, in fact, a lot of planning and a lot of hard work. This once neglected suburban block is now full of fruit trees, veggies, chooks, and even a wetland. In fact, loads more. It's organic, it's water-wise, and it's a really pleasant place to be. So after working on the garden for 18 months, I'm opening it up to the public as part of the Australian Open Garden Scheme, which means there's still loads of jobs to do, but it's also a good time to show you around. You know, people who get a bit daunted by this kind of garden transformation often ask me, whereabouts do you start? Well, the answer to that is really simple, and that is good planning. This is the key to any attractive and productive garden. But in permaculture, we take it really seriously. We start by observing sun angles. In summer, we want shade. In winter, warming light. Wind direction is also important to set up things like windbreaks. We can use slope to move water, and even view is taken seriously. In that way, we can make the most of lovely vistas, such as off the back veranda looking over the entire garden, and do things like screen out ugly fences with productive vines. Being mindful of resources and minimising waste is also important. Green wastes are composted and used to build up the soil. Tree prunings are shredded to make mulch, and water is applied as efficiently as possible with drip irrigation. As you can see, the hard work's really paid off. I've been eating corn, beans, celery spuds, in fact all sorts of things out of this veggie garden. And the second summer crop is well and truly underway. Out the front, on the native veg garden, things are really doing well. Under the transplanted macrozamias and grass trees, my first kangaroo paws have started to flower. A lot's happened out here, but it's all been pretty straightforward. But out the back, things have really changed. This pergola and outdoor kitchen have just gone up, providing the perfect shelter for outdoor living in summer. In fact, most of the year round. If you remember how we made this wetland using old slabs, carpet and polyliner, well, you just wouldn't recognise it now. These sedges have really come along, and frogs have even made their own way here. We've also put in paving from second-hand, locally sourced red bricks. And behind me, the old garden shed is getting its final touches to make it a very special home garden studio. I've opened up the chook run for my beautiful Australorp hens, and they'll turn in the green manure crop of vetch, peas and rye in no time. And the fruit trees are already starting to bear. With so many things to do before opening the garden, mates really do come in handy. In fact, I couldn't manage without them. I must confess I'm a bit of a compulsive gardener, and I've got such a buzz out of bringing this whole garden project together. You know, I really feel that all gardeners should be getting into composting and worm farms, drip irrigation, grey water, and most importantly, going organic. But the great thing about permaculture is how it ties all these things together as efficiently as possible. Going organic is a lot easier than people think. Most pest and disease problems can be avoided simply by establishing a diverse array of plants, keeping them healthy, and creating